We have some developing news to tell you about right now happening from Rome.
This is very big news. The Vatican just announced that the Roman Catholic Church will declare the late Pope John Paul II a saint. Pope Francis signed that decree this morning. John Paul was Pope from 1978 until he died in 2005. Here at his funeral, thousands of pilgrims gathered in St. Peter's Square and chanted Santo Subito, sainthood now. The Polish-born Pope was fast-tracked to beatification when he died in 2005 and became the Blessed John Paul II, barely 6 years after his death, the fastest beatification in centuries. The ceremonies are expected by the end of this year. I just saw on CBSNews.com they're throwing around December 8th as a possible date for that. Of course, we're going to follow this and bring you the very latest. All right, 6:02 now. Many folks waking up, a little tired-eyed this morning. You're not the only one. After celebrating the 4th of July, and really it was a toss-up between who put on the better light show last night. We have the fireworks at the Isotopes Park and the big Freedom Force celebration over at Balloon Fiesta Park. Yes, they were big, they were beautiful, and by no means did they disappoint, but Mother Nature would not be bested. Take a look. This really doesn't even do it justice, but there was a simply awesome lightning storm as a backdrop to the fireworks displays. Lightning split the night skies, illuminating the darkened Sandias. It was gorgeous. And despite all the warnings, the patrols, and the fire restrictions this year, there really was no noticeable lack, unfortunately, of illegal fireworks in Albuquerque.
We could learn today, though, how many people were cited, if any. By 10 o'clock last night, we know that AFD got more than 250 calls about illegal fireworks. And that's when things really started to pick up. They've been out patrolling for illegal fireworks throughout last night, and they will be throughout the weekend looking for those that shoot up or out, like the ones we actually saw here from our station up from the roof. Now, these are banned in the city, county, and many communities around New Mexico, so heads up with that. The age-old tradition of visiting a lake on the 4th of July was a little different experience altogether, I think, this year.
Yeah, in our very much drought-stricken state, Elephant Butte Lake's water levels are at the lowest level they have been in decades. In fact, 40% fewer visitors, you remember this, went to the Butte over Memorial Day. And at this time last year, there was 4 times as much water in the lake. News 13's Alex Goldsmith went down there yesterday to see what was shaking.
You ever seen it this low?
I have not.
We were in shock when we walked in.
You'd have a hard time telling it from the welcome signs that greet campers and boaters to New Mexico's largest lake, but Elephant Butte Lake is low on water, very low. Rolf Heschler with New Mexico State Parks says there's 70,000 acre-feet of water at the Butte, the lowest since the 70s.
To draw that into context for you, when the lake is full, we can have up to 2 million acre-feet.
The boat launch ramp might show it the best. Typically, the ramp has 10 lanes for loading boats in and out. Now they're down to 3 to 4. Mirna Aguirre and her family have come here for 20 years.
But it's depressing now, seeing this water level dropping so fast.
Sitting near the boat ramp is this pile of old debris, scrap metal, tires. It's stuff that may have been submerged for decades, but now because of the low water levels, it's all sitting on dry ground. There's a flip side when the water's low. Acres of submerged land now serve as prime lakefront campsites.
Well, we got a lot more beach, obviously, to camp on, and that's good.
As low as the water is, the park's still expecting about 60,000 visitors over the long holiday weekend.
I don't think it'll keep us from coming. We'll still keep coming. There's hope still for the water level to rise.
People can still enjoy all the activities they used to. It may be a little more crowded, but the lake is still there.
In Elephant Butte, Alex Goldsmith, KRQE News 13.
Another place we see low water levels, unfortunately, too, is the Rio Grande, and it's going to get, yes, even lower. The Middle Rio Grande Conservancy District says it's used up its stored water supply, so the river is going to start dropping its level through Sunday. Look at the baby ducks there. And irrigation season is not over just yet. Water will be still diverted for the pueblos. Also, any flow that might result from rain or runoff can be delivered to other irrigators in the valley. The drought has left parts of the Rio Grande dry and reservoirs at record low levels. And then on the flip side of this, we have Santa Rosa. It had perhaps one of the oddest July 3rds in recent memory, maybe even ever. Take a look. This is a freak summer hailstorm. Wednesday, dumping anywhere. Meteorologist Kristen Van Dyke tells us from 6 inches to a foot of golf ball-sized hail on this town. It looks like something we'd see in the middle of January. And that forced first responders there to, guess what, get out their snow plows.
Something that I haven't seen, I've never seen. In my 50 years of life, I've never seen anything like this.
All right, hail damage forced some businesses to close. That's what the Family Dollar had to do. Others had to do a lot of cleaning up. That was at the Sun and Sand restaurant. And take a look at this. Under the weight of all that hail, this carport collapsed. That damaged 3 cars. It looks like a winter wonderland in July.
That's for sure. All right, a man wanted for murder last month in Albuquerque is now behind bars. APD arrested Walter Edding Wednesday night. He was wanted in connection with the death of Peter Ruffing. He was shot to death at a home on San Pablo near Central in Louisiana. So far, police aren't releasing any details about the case or motive because they say they're still looking for more suspects. We now have the name of a motorcyclist who was killed in a violent crash north of Santa Fe. Deputies say 39-year-old Mark Carrera from Los Alamos was trying to pass another car when he hit a guardrail on northbound I-25 between El Dorado and Glorieta. Carrera was thrown from the bike, ending up at least 25 feet away from the interstate. The motorcycle actually slid down the roadway, eventually hitting the vehicle Carrera was trying to pass. No one else in this accident was hurt.
All right, 6:07 now. A couple of parade tragedies to tell you about nationally on this 4th of July holiday. A 7-year-old boy fell and died. This was off a float at this Annapolis, Maryland intersection. It was during an Independence Day parade there. Right now, investigators don't know exactly how this boy fell or exactly what killed him, if it was the fall or maybe he was hit by another car. Many folks watching had no idea what happened until the parade was over with. And in the parade in Bangor, Maine, a small old John Deere tractor right here, and its driver was hit from behind by an out-of-control antique fire truck. When that truck hit the tractor, the driver flew off, and the truck ran over him. He died. That happened in front of a horrified 4th of July crowd.